Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Patry Live. Is this our second show for September? I believe it is. I'm still wearing almost a light color because pretty soon I'm going to have to switch over to dark to make up for the time of autumn, which is my favorite time of year. So I figured, well, tonight, to celebrate autumn, rather than have pumpkins or anything like that, we're going to talk to Doug and Tamara Harper from Harper's Exotic Animals. Welcome, Doug. Welcome, Tamara. That's got to be the worst intro I've ever heard in my life. You know what? It didn't even make any sense.
It sounded great to me.
Did it? That whole pumpkin autumn jacket color thing, I didn't even know what the heck that meant. But you're here, and that's what's exciting.
Definitely.
So you folks run Harper's Exotic Animals. So we'll start with you, Doug, and you can jump in anytime you feel comfortable, Tamara. Anytime, because if he fails, I'm counting on you.
She always corrects me.
To correct you to pick up. You're probably the brains behind the outfit, are you?
The boss,
the boss.
Today, no.
So
she gets to approve what I bring in the house.
So how long you been doing this for, Doug?
Harper's Exotic Animals, we've been open now for a little over a year, but I've been rescuing animals since my mother would tell you, since I was a little kid. Anything with furry that needed help or needed a good home or released back into the wild, I found my way to it and
well, it's
tried
very
to do
commendable,
the best.
I have to tell you, first of all, because rescuing animals is probably one of the greatest things that people can do. But now you're not just dealing with cats and dogs, are you?
No. Right now we're focused on the ones that people don't help usually.
Right.
The ones that are scary to people, and big snakes and reptiles and pit bulls and big Great Danes and stuff like that the normal people will say no to, I'll say yes to.
Right. And that's what's in your show, are different reptiles?
Yeah, reptiles. We have a couple of rodents that we bring to our shows as well, but mostly 98% of our show is reptiles.
Okay, now I met you and your wife at the trade show.
Yep.
Because you guys had a great booth.
Oh yeah,
it was a beautiful booth.
Yeah, we won the awards for the best booth.
That's
at the trade
what
show.
I thought. Well,
yep.
Congratulations to you on that. So you must have put a lot of effort and work into that.
To me, it's everyone I do. It's the same. Like I put the same amount of effort into every show. It's a routine that I do.
And how many shows are you doing in a year? Like, is it something
since we opened, I've pretty well, the last time I checked, I think we're up right around the 100 range now.
You've done 100 shows?
Close to 100 shows. I've on my page for parents, because usually after every show I get a rating. I get them to do a rating.
Right.
And a few of them haven't. I've got 98 ratings on my thing. So we're right up around 100 shows now.
So are you doing private functions and that type of thing?
We do a little bit of everything. I get calls from Cub Scouts to for example, I'm going to be doing my kids' science class, taking a few animals in there this year, and we do, most of ours is personal birthday parties, private birthday parties and stuff like that.
But you do a lot of charity work too.
A lot of charity. We try to donate as much as we can.
That's awesome.
As much as we can. And we've done probably 3 shows, and from those shows donated everything, all proceeds from them to the...
So now how did this idea come to happen, that you said, okay, I mean, obviously you've been, as you said, rescuing animals for quite a few years. So you're building up this, I don't know if I should use the word arsenal, because it's probably
it's
an arsenal of animals.
It works for some people. It's an arsenal.
It's not an arsenal. No, that's a horrible word. Well, I don't know what it is. It's a menagerie. That's what we call it that. So you've got all these animals, and then you say to yourself, or you both discuss, we're going to start touring with these animals and putting on. So when did all this happen? You said about a year ago.
Yep. I was sitting at home, and one of my friends that moved away, her name's actually Jennifer Reed, because I want to give her props, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have had the courage to start. She apparently her birthday entertainment canceled, and she lives not around here, I think in Ontario now, and she said, if you weren't closer, I'd get you to bring your animals for a good birthday thing. And I said, geez, it's a good idea. And she said, why don't you put a post out and see if there's an interest for it? She says, you're great with them and stuff. So I did. And 2 of my friends happened to have birthdays coming up for their kids. And I went, did them, and we posted pictures. And after that, it just blew up. And
that's fantastic.
I don't have a free weekend I'm booked solid for 2 months ahead of time now.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And then you're helping them with all this. How do you feel about all these strange and bizarre creatures in your house?
I love all the animals. I love them all. He's not allowed to have insects.
Right.
Like there is some that required are required for feeding, but
Yes.
that's it. He's not allowed to have like.
So you got certain rules and
Yeah,
stipulations.
Spiders,
but-
insects, and
yeah.
birds.
Right.
But anything else he can bring in the house.
So you don't
pretty
even
much.
you don't like birds?
It's not that I don't like birds, but
Yeah.
the maintenance. We have to. He
It's-
doesn't
yeah.
think of the maintenance part.
Right.
I
So
think
you,
of the.
you take care of all that.
Oh no,
No,
he takes
he
care
takes
of everything.
care of all
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remind him how much he has to take care
Right.
of, and that adding something sometimes
Right.
isn't so practical, right?
Yeah, because I have a full-time job that I work at as well. So I work, like right now I'm not working at the moment, but when I'm at work, full-time mechanic, and all during the week I have to be a mechanic 8 till 5, and then I have to come home and
then
be
you
a
put
reptile guy from
You put your reptile
5
hat
till
on.
5 till 10.
Right. So now, do you have things like scorpions? And
No, we haven't got any
I don't know if
scorpions
that,
yet.
is that like an insect or is that a lizard? I don't know what the
They're
heck
kind
that-
of they're considered an insect,
like
I
a
guess.
lobster.
But I haven't, like I said, I tell everybody I'm nowhere near a professional. I'm
Right.
still learning every day, every day. I'll get a new animal, and I might not know nothing about that animal, but within a matter of a month, I've known everything. I read, and more.
So
Like I
now,
said,
okay, so these animals you rescue specifically, but it seems like the bulk of what you collect or you rescue are lizards and snakes.
Yep.
So where are you rescuing them from?
I've got animals clear from PEI, Nova Scotia. I actually have an iguana coming this weekend that I rescued from Nova Scotia.
But how do you find out about them?
People don't know there's a really big reptile community, especially on Facebook. I've joined groups, and you'd be surprised in New Brunswick. It's just like you've got people that muscle cars, 20,000 of them that have a group. We have a reptile community, and it's a
Okay.
really close community because if one person needs something,
Right.
and they're not long kicking it in. Like say if I had a tank break or something, and I messaged somebody on my group and said this happened to me, and I can't get to the city, somebody right there will help you out.
Okay,
And
so
advice.
somebody will have we'll use iguana as an example. He'll have an iguana that for whatever reason he doesn't want anymore, he can't take care of it, so he'll post online.
Yep. And
Does anybody
Some of them
want?
contact us.
Yep,
They do,
we
'cause
get
you're
a
gonna
lot.
need to be
Yep.
known in the
Yeah,
community.
Yeah.
we've been getting a lot
I
of
get
that
3 or
lately.
4 a week that contact me saying, can you come get this animal? Can you come get that animal? Like last week, for example, one of my buddies messaged me and he said, geez, I found a litter of kittens in the garage. I said, yeah, it's not really exotic. That's something for the SPCA. He said, yeah, but in the middle of them was a baby skunk.
Okay, so you adopted the skunk.
We wanted to. He didn't know that skunk needed the mother's milk for about 3 months. So he just opened the garage door up to let it go out. And the next morning, it was gone. It hasn't come back.
Oh, so okay. So
But if he would have, I would have come and
you
taken
would
it.
have taken
Yep.
them.
And you can have them descented if you can't release them to the wild. If they're too used to people and stuff, you can
Right.
actually have a skunk descented.
Really?
And I know people that have kept them for pets, and they're better than a cat. They're just like a little cat.
Yeah, they look like a cat.
Yeah, and they're playful, and it's every animal's the same.
Hey,
It's just-
remember that cartoon, Pepe Le Pew?
Yeah.
Remember, he was always thinking he was a cat,
Yeah.
but he smelled horrible.
Well, it's all the way I teach people is everything you're scared of these animals that I have. It's sad to say it's a media-based fear. It's because
Sure.
TV wants people to be scared of it, 90% of them. We have a snake there was one loose in Fredericton last year, the same size as him, and it caused an uproar. They literally shut down schools, wouldn't let kids go out. And when they found it, they had 6 cops had surrounded it with guns on live TV. One guy walking by, hair in a ponytail, walks right up between the cops, picks it up, puts it around his
But
neck.
now,
But
how-
it made good news.
But how does he get out?
It happens. People make mistakes. I've never had one of my big snakes escape, but all it takes is, like I said, I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning tending these guys before I go to work. All it takes is one eye a little bit closed and the other and sleepy, and you make mistakes. It happens.
Forget
But
to shut a
all
tank.
my big snakes, like I said, when the SPCA they come and inspected us the other day, fully certified us. He said I was safer than a pet store because I have all my big snakes under lock and key, even though I don't have to.
Now, I can walk into a pet store tomorrow somewhere, I
Yep.
guess in St. John or Fredericton or wherever they I don't think we have one here in St. Stephen
No.
or St. Andrews.
Not yet.
And I can buy a snake.
Yeah, they'll sell it. That's one thing, like pet stores, I don't badmouth them, but the thing with pet stores, they have to sell anything to anybody. My big 9-foot boa, 15-year-old kid could walk in and convince them to sell it.
Right.
We rehome animals. We don't sell animals. We rehome them. It's a 3-month process. You have to show me for 3 months that you're willing to learn about them. And that tells me if they can study about that animal for 3 months,
Yeah.
they'll keep them longer.
So there's hope for me that I could get a snake from you.
You sure could.
See, now can I get a leash on them? I guess and walk them.
I have
put a
considered
sock
starting to
on
buy or make clothes for them.
them. Make clothes
Yeah,
for
she's
a
been
snake.
asking me. She wants to do little photo shoots with my lizards with little Christmas hats and stuff. I'm like, oh.
See, you don't like that. I can tell.
Oh, she can do it. Whatever. Her Instagram's her Instagram. She can do whatever she wants on that. But when it comes to my business page,
right?
you don't
want animals with little outfits on.
I want my lizard stuff.
You know, a few years ago, I remember seeing a show. I think it was on 2020 or something. It was about parrots and cockatoos and parrots and all these exotic birds. And people would get them in their 20s and 30s, not knowing that they lived to be like, 300-400. Well, I don't think they're 300-400 years old, but probably they live a long
80
time.
to 100
and
years.
of course, the person ends up dying.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the animal goes nowhere. And I remember seeing this, somebody had a little farm or zoo where they bring these animals. Actually very sad.
Yep.
Because people bring these animals in and either they get tired of them, they get bored with them, they grow a lot bigger than they ever imagined, and all of a sudden now they're thinking, well, you know what, I don't want this anymore. And then they just get, and I think I've read on your page where they just let them go or
Well,
throw
that's
them out in the wild.
I've got one here that the little boy, he was young and it was keeping him up at night, and he released it to the wild thinking it would survive.
Yeah.
But we'll bring her out in a little bit and I'll tell you the story on it. And the same thing, it's lack of education on some parts. Sometimes it's per accidental. They don't mean to do it, they just don't know that
They don't
young
know
kids,
anything.
right?
You know, my wife has said that about me, that, you know, I keep her up at night and I'm getting, you know, I've been around a while, she's getting tired of me, and she says, you know, Rob, we got to throw you out in the wild. So before you know it, you might be adopting me.
Yeah, there you go. We got a basement.
Yeah,
couple
well, there
rooms.
you go. You know, and then maybe I could help change the litter.
The only thing is, these guys are earning their keep now, all these
Yeah,
reptiles.
you're not going to get anything out of me. So, how many animals have you got right now, Doug?
Right now, last time I counted, I stopped counting at around 52. But we breed rats because, it may sound horrible to some of the viewers, but we breed our own rats because we need a supply of at least 13 rats a week to feed our snakes.
To feed them.
We have pet rats, they make great pets, but then we also have them for breeders, and then we have ones we keep just for breeding. They get treated great, just as good as our pets, but when it comes time for mealtime.
Well, they have to eat, right?
Yeah, and we put them down humanely. We have a gas chamber. We put them to sleep painlessly.
Right.
And then we feed our snakes with
Now,
those.
I don't know. You know what? I know nothing about snakes. You know what? I know nothing about almost everything, to tell you the truth. But when you give him the snake something like that, is he alive, or do you give that to him?
I don't feed live. Some people do. Some snakes you have to, depending on some time of the year too. If a snake goes kind of dormant in the wintertime, sometimes you have to induce them with live food. I don't like to because...
Okay, now why do they go dormant?
Because they can still sense the winter temperatures, right? They can still sense climate change if you change their tank. I've had snakes go 9 months without eating, which is totally normal. They can go up to a year because I just changed his tank. Changed his surroundings and his tanks and put them in a new, better tank. They have to adapt. If they don't feel safe, they're not going to eat.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. When I don't feel safe, I start eating more.
There you go, yeah.
So, okay, so then does he go to sleep? Like, does he sleep?
The snakes?
Yeah, or
nope,
any of
snakes
them.
can't blink. They don't close their
They
eyes.
got
They kind of go in a dormancy.
Their eyes are always open.
They slow
See, I
down their
didn't know that.
metabolism and then they rest. They can't go to sleep because their eyes are always open.
Really?
Yep.
So, but you said he goes dormant.
Dormant. It's like
But
a shark. Sharks can't sleep because they can't stop swimming. If they stop
see.
swimming, they die.
They die.
But they'll take a rest period, slow themselves down.
You don't have sharks, do you?
That truthfully,
You'd
out of
lie- you
everything
know-
I have here, my one fear that I'm personally trying to find somebody to help me get over it is sharks and whales. I have
No.
a fear of the ocean.
So you should talk to some of the folks down at the aquarium there at the Huntsman.
Oh, I've been down there. I have no problem going there, but going out, we went
In the
deep sea
open
fishing with
water.
her father out in by Alaska last year, and they tricked me, and we went out deep, and I woke up and I had panic attacks and throwing up. Nope.
So you don't go to skin dive and
Nope.
Nope,
Not this guy. I'll handle snakes any day. You guys can keep your sharks and whales.
So you don't have to worry. We've got it on the air that he's not going to adopt a shark.
No.
But you know what? He'll change his mind in a year, and he'll have a great white in a
Probably.
little
But
tank.
I would like to get the permits maybe to get a caiman, a small crocodile, the miniature
Caiman.
crocodiles.
Right. Now, they don't grow, do they?
No, you can get small ones that stay small. The caimans, they don't get very big.
Yeah.
But you got to get special permits, and I'd have to have a water pit.
Now, alligators and things, I know that this is a rumor people used to say that people would flush the alligator down the toilet because they didn't want him anymore. And then he'd grow up, and the next day there's all these 12-foot alligators.
Oh, myths. I get so many myths.
That's an urban legend.
Yeah, well, it's just like a snake in bed sizing you up.
Yeah, I've heard that. You mean that's not true?
No, that's a myth. I had a snake when we first got him. He was in a bad tank, and he escaped.
Yeah.
And we weren't home. We come home and couldn't find him. Ripped the whole house apart. He was about 7 feet. We had a guinea pig, open top guinea pig tank.
Yeah.
He was in the guinea pig enclosure, wrapped around the guinea pig, not squeezing it, nothing. Just used it for warmth. When a snake escapes its enclosure, they have to be 80 degrees, or they're going to start slowing down and go into hibernation.
Yeah.
They're looking for heat. And if you get a snake laying inside in your bed, he's just trying to get warm. There's no snake that you can get around here that could eat a human being.
Right.
And a snake won't even attempt to eat something it can't swallow.
Okay. So now they're cold-blooded, right? Is that what they call that?
They only stay as warm as the air around them.
Okay. So that's why he was around the guinea pig, because the guinea pig's a little mammal.
And he had warm. Yep.
How did the guinea pig feel about all this? Didn't bother him?
Yeah, I don't think he liked it so much. He wasn't moving. He wasn't jumping out of the circle, so he wasn't.
So he was a little freaked out by the whole ordeal.
But hence to say, if he was in his cage and I was to drop that guinea pig in his cage, it wouldn't last 2 seconds.
Right.
But
what do you think the snake knew it was the guinea pig's house?
No, he just knew that if he killed that, he wouldn't have nothing for body warmth.
Oh, I see.
He'd have to find something else to keep him warm.
And maybe he wasn't hungry.
And maybe he wasn't. My snakes are well fed, right? If they're not hungry, they're not going to eat.
And will they pretty much eat anything? Like give them
My big snakes, they eat rabbits and chickens.
Yeah.
And then my little ones, they'll eat mostly rodents like rats and
They
stuff
have
like
to
that.
have bones.
Whatever you eat has to have bones because
Why is that?
Because that's where they get all their calcium.
I see.
Their calcium. When they're babies, you feed them small ones that don't have bones because they're so small, but as they grow up, they got to have that calcium.
Now, okay, so you didn't take, when you were a kid in school, did you want to become a vet, or is this just an interest you
I've
had?
always had
You
the dream to be
seem to know
a
a lot
vet,
about animals.
but I never had the marks for it.
No.
I
you're like
glided through school with my sports and wasn't that great in biology and stuff like that with that side of it, but when it comes
the
to
love
the
of animals has caused you to learn and to...
Yeah, I'd love, like with the SPCA, they were at the house and did an inspection over the weekend, and he offered me a job to do the inspections around our area. Said if I was interested in what he's seen in my house, he was impressed with, and said obviously I could take care of them. So he wanted me to apply for a job for them.
Yeah. Are you going to take it, or you don't?
It's only part-time, and there's no benefits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the way he's telling me, it's quite a handful. But to me, it's not about the money. It's about helping. It's not just helping animals. It's helping the people with the animals, with educating people who don't know. And because sometimes that's all it takes. Somebody could be supposedly neglecting an animal, and all they need is somebody to come in and tell them proper ways to use it.
Because they may not know how to take care of them.
Not everybody knows how to Google nowadays, right? And that's the sad thing. Like people say, oh, that's how do you learn? You don't got no degrees, but I read. I get an animal, I spend 300 to 400 hours within a couple of days reading on that animal so I can know about him.
Okay.
Best I can.
Well, we're going to take ourselves a quick break, and we'll be right back. And I'm hoping that they brought us a few animals to look at. We'll be right back with Rob Patry Live and Harper's Exotic Animals. Okay, you're back with Rob Patry Live, and our special guests tonight are Doug and Tamara Harper from Harper's Exotic Animals. So we're going to start bringing out exotic animals. So if I panic or freak out or pass out, Patrick, you're going to come out and give me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. I don't know if you were aware of that, but that's also in the contract. So you take care of me, my friend. Just make sure, oh, geez, I see something horrible happened here. Are we still on the air? I don't know. We're good. Okay. So what do we got here, Tamara? It's a little weasel.
This is a chinchilla.
It's a chinchilla.
It's a male chinchilla. His name is Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi the chinchilla.
Yeah, we have another one at home. It's a female, and her name is Bun Bun.
Okay. Bun Bun.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Chi-Chi?
Yeah.
And Bun Bun.
Yeah, he's a champagne.
Now, these guys
chinchilla.
aren't rescues.
Okay.
My daughter, she really, really wanted a chinchilla.
Okay.
So we told her we have no right to ever tell her she can't have an animal.
Right.
But we told
So
her.
if she wants something you don't want, like a shark, you got to give it to her.
Pretty
well,
much,
pretty
yeah.
much, yeah.
Pretty much.
So now,
She saved her money for 3 months. She had to save $250 to get these guys, and she did. For 3 months, she saved all her allowance. She started walking a dog for a lady,
right.
all kinds of things. So yeah, she had her heart set on those, and
Now, where do these things come from?
These guys originate from Chile.
Okay.
We adopted him. He come from a breeder up in Rishabukto. That's where usually when we buy animals, and they poop all the time. No, they usually when we do buy an animal, it's from a breeder, right straight from a breeder, because the cost is half, and you can actually see where they're raised and know if they're well taken care of. Whereas the pet store, you don't know where they come from beforehand.
I'll be honest with you. You know, from my perspective, and I mean, we don't have any at the house. We don't have anything exotic other than myself. I'm as exotic as they come. But we have a couple of dogs, and over the years we've had cats and dogs, and we always adopt, you know, like rescue.
Perfect,
you know, and I'm not a big go to the pet store and buy a dog, because they're usually from, you know, puppy mills.
Well, you can't even buy dogs and cats now in pet stores.
Oh, is that right?
They banned, the only way dogs and cats can be in pet stores now is if the SPCA brings them in.
Because there's so many people that get these animals, and even just a cat or a dog, and a few years later, I don't want him. He makes too much noise. He's too much trouble. But now this little guy, they used to make coats out of him. They're not doing that anymore, are they?
Some still do.
know.
We found online people over in the States. Over in the States, they you'd be surprised what some people do over there.
Jade, our daughter, researched, and she told us how they kill them in mass quantities and
'Cause the same
make
thing.
fur.
Because he's
coats
very
out of them.
soft.
And that was the same thing with my daughter. She had the same rules that every kid that we get animals for. My daughter had to study.
Can I touch him?
Sure,
See
yeah.
how soft? He's a boy or a girl?
That's
one's
the
a
boy.
boy.
Yeah.
He's the boy. Oh, geez.
Oh yeah, they drop pellets.
See, right now I'm already, I'll tell you, I'm uncomfortable already. You know what? If I need to be around poop like that,
That's one thing I've learned to deal with. I missed
you,
it.
you deal with it.
Yeah.
Now, he's shaking a bit. He's nervous.
No, that's just their thing. Most rodents just naturally are always shaking. If
So
he
he's
was,
not freaked out by
no,
me.
if he was freaking, he'd be running.
Okay.
He's the female we have. She's a little territorial.
He's not a biter.
No,
is
he won't bite you. The worst thing
Might
they'll do
nibble on
is
you.
they'll bark. They bark.
They bark.
Yeah,
like
they
a
bark.
dog.
They're possessive over their tank they live in, and then they'll bark when you go to take them out of the tank.
So does he need special care or anything?
This
like
guy,
that?
there's special food. You feed him up
Did we get a
pellets,
close up of him, Doug?
couple of
his
special
little
pellets,
face?
and alfalfa hay.
Alfalfa hay. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's very bouncy.
Oh yeah, and they can climb, bounce. They're very, very agile.
No, you got to keep him away from the snakes and stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
lives in our
He
daughter's
lives in my
room.
daughter's room. All our rodents are kept either in the basement, my rats, or my daughter's room.
Okay. Because you don't want him to get into the wrong spot at the
We
wrong
don't usually
time.
take them to the shows unless it's a bigger show, and we take them because it'll give the people a chance to handle something that are too scared to handle.
Right.
Because there's always people that, no way they'll touch anything.
They don't want to touch anything.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so chinchilla. So what's up next?
Okay.
Bring out the next thing. Okay, now who's this coming
This
on
young
here?
fella is one of my volunteers, Cody Tucker.
Cody Tucker.
Yeah, he helps me with all my
Hi,
shows.
Cody Tucker. How you doing today?
Great
Good.
little worker here at
Now, what do we got here?
Okay, these have, if you want to grab Frankie too and bring Frankie over, Cody. These are crested geckos.
Geckos, okay. Is that like the insurance guy?
Kind of, but not the same type of gecko.
He's green.
There's several. And the thing is, these guys will change colors. And right now, where the humidity's not perfect in here for him, he's kind of white. He'll turn a nice bright red when they call it firing up for these guys. It's not a self-defense mechanism, anything. It's based on humidity and temperature.
Okay.
And this is our little guy. We also have at home a couple of hatchlings and some eggs, because this girl's been laying eggs from this guy. But this is our first gecko. We've had him for about 1.5 years now, maybe. His name's Frankie.
Okay.
These guys come from New Caledonia. They thought they were extinct until 1996.
Where's New Caledonia?
It's a little island off the coast of Australia.
Okay, so they're from Australia.
Yeah, they thought they were all extinct.
Now, he doesn't have a tail?
Well, that's the thing I was about to discuss. These guys, their self-defense is when they get scared, the least bit, their tail has ligaments that interlock. They let go and their tail falls off. And their tail will keep wiggling on the ground, so whatever's chasing them will take that instead of them.
That's unusual.
And then, even if that doesn't happen, they'll come back sometimes and eat their own tail.
Really?
Yep. And they're called them the crested gecko because of the crest that's on the top of their head. And in the pet world, the bigger the crest, the more they're worth.
So how long does it take for him to grow back a tail?
These guys, they don't grow back. The leopard geckos we're going to bring
So
out,
once he's lost it, it's it.
they call them a
Yeah.
frog
He's
butt.
done.
Once they lose the tail, they give them the nickname a frog butt. Because it
Frog
looks,
butt.
looks like a frog butt.
Okay, so this guy here in your right hand, Doug, he still has his tail.
Yeah, his name's Jello. He wasn't so much a rescue. I have in my reptile group.
Can I hold one of
Sure
these?
can. In my reptile group, I have a guy that we keep in contact with. He owned this guy, and he didn't have the time for him. He has snakes, and he didn't want him to give him away, so he brought him down and gave him to us.
Now, he's very soft.
Yes,
Yeah,
they are.
they're
They're
like a
very, and that's a
velvety kind of
misconception.
feel.
People think lizards and snakes are slimy, and they're not whatsoever.
And he's friendly little guy.
Oh yeah, these
And they'll
guys are
jump.
great starter lizards for
I don't
kids.
want to scare, I don't
Oh, no,
want him to
you're-
jump and
Oh,
be
he's
scared.
not fast. Worst thing he's gonna do, this guy he's a jumper.
The
I
only
can
one
train
that's
him.
going to be scared if she jumps is probably you.
I'm gonna, I'll jump.
They're the best starter lizard for
He
kids.
doesn't turn into like a bat or anything.
No.
Okay.
No, they
Or
will.
a,
They'll jump quite far.
Really?
But yeah, these guys' lifespans
No,
about
he won't.
10
He
years.
won't excrete on me. Anymore.
No, these guys.
This is
No.
what I get worried
Actually,
about.
we can't guarantee
Can't
that
guarantee.
they
We
won't.
don't
No.
guarantee anything, but these
You
guys,
got
no, these
no
guys have never
guarantees.
excreted on nobody.
Now the little guy. Now, okay, this guy here who has the tail.
Yeah, his name's Jello.
He's
Will
a male.
Jello.
Yeah.
Will he keep his tail forever as long as nobody
As long as
bothers
nobody's
him?
bothers them or hurts them, and that's why I induce when people pick them up, try not to pick them up like this. You go under their chin and like that, because if you pick them up like this, it induces that they're being grabbed by prey.
Okay.
And they can drop their tail. This guy, my
so
cat
am I
sat-
holding him okay?
Oh, you're great. You're great.
Okay,
These
good.
guys have been handled by over 4,000 kids. They're tame as can be.
You're holding Sophie.
That's Sophie.
Sophie. Oh,
This
it's a little girl.
Yeah, she's probably got a couple eggs in her belly right now too.
Really?
Yep.
So who's the father? Do we know?
This
Jello.
guy.
Okay, so it's not
and
like
this is another female.
Yep.
Frankie. We didn't know.
We didn't know the sex of her when we got her, so
Right.
she's Frankie.
okay. So they're both with child.
Nope,
Nope,
this one
this
won't
one-
be old enough to breed until full grown like that.
Okay, so this one's gonna have babies.
Yeah, she already has. We have.
she has?
We have one hatchling that's about the size of his paw at home, and then we have 4 eggs that are waiting to hatch, and she's gonna lay 2 more.
When did she lay her eggs?
They lay 2 eggs. Their breeding season starts at the 1st of September.
Okay.
Or around August they'll start to breed, and then they lay 2 eggs every 30 days, and then it takes 60 days for those eggs to hatch.
And how big will she get, Doug?
These are full grown.
Oh,
These
that's
guys.
it.
This guy's about 6 years old, and she's about 4
And
or 5.
do your other animals, are they interested in them in terms of like snacking or anything?
Oh, yes.
We
So
had
you
an
gotta
yeah.
really watch.
Yep.
Yes.
We had an incident one because I have 2 tanks that are similar,
Yeah.
and they were on top of each other. I just got it, and she was putting animals away one time. She accidentally put him in with one of my small snakes, and I caught just in time as the snake coiled
He's
around him.
getting ready
Yeah,
to
to have a snack.
to have a snack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So
that's
we
the
moved
thing.
their tanks.
Yeah, we moved the tank so that could never happen again.
Okay.
So yeah, these
Very nice.
these are the best starter
And their
lizards.
feet are sticky. You can probably tell that when she's walking
Yeah,
on you.
they have rows of hair on their feet. They can
I
stick
see.
to glass, anything, and they can't blink. When they want to blink, they gotta lick their eyeballs.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different.
Yeah, they're definitely the neatest ones.
Now, I forgot to mention if where's it? Okay, here I am. Okay, here's my little friend. Hi, Sophie. Sophie and I are going to do a little ad for our phone number. If anybody has any questions, for Tamara or for Doug or for me or Sophie, give us a call at 855-529-8826. Okay, so let's bring out someone else here. Bye,
Sure.
Sophie. Oh, she's a sweetheart.
Oh yeah, they're
Very nice girl.
once they
These are
sit,
great.
the kids, these are the ones at the show.
Too.
Okay.
These are
They're
one of the
easy
favorites.
to
So
for
if
the
I'm
kids.
going to get one of these guys, this is where I should start.
Yep.
And how long do they live for, Doug?
These guys can live 15 years, no
15
problem,
years,
depending
okay.
on how good you take care of them. But they can live 5 years. It all depends on the care you give them.
So what are these guys?
These guys are special little guys. These are leopard geckos.
Okay.
Those guys are tree-going lizards. They spend all their lives in the trees and the branches. These are ground-dwelling lizards. They come from places like Afghanistan, Iraq, warmer
So
places.
hot places.
Yep.
And how do they find it here? Like, you know.
They've all been shipped. The breeders have shipped them over, and if it wasn't for breeders, we wouldn't have them over here. And surprisingly, there's people over there that make their living, families that make their living over there by breeding these and sending them over here.
Right. And they don't care who gets them, of course.
No.
They just
No.
want to get them out there. Now, does his tail fall off?
Yeah, but these guys, it's really hard to make it happen. You really gotta scare them,
Yeah.
and theirs grows back.
And we don't want to do
It's
that.
not good for these guys to lose their tail.
No,
either,
because
is it?
all their fat store is in their tail.
Okay. So we don't want anybody to lose their
No.
tail.
And
The
there's
bigger
good.
bigger and fatter their tail is usually the healthier
Now,
they
are both of these the same kind?
Yeah, they're just different colors, and these two don't get along.
They don't like each
No,
other?
he'll bite onto him and hold onto him for an hour.
Really?
We had to put him underwater one time at a show to get him to let go because they're two males. You can't house two male lizards together; they'll fight.
Okay, so it's like a competitive.
Yep. And one thing we
Alpha
like
male
to
thing.
show with these guys, if you watch this guy walk,
Yeah.
see how he walks perfect.
Yes.
On his. Now watch this guy walk. And this is one of the things I like to show people. See how he walks on his elbows.
And his legs are all twisted.
Yeah.
He has what's called metabolic bone disease. When these guys are little, it's like kids, they have to have milk. These guys have to have calcium dust put on their food.
Right.
The people that had him obviously
Didn't take care of
Well, they tried. I knew him. It's sad to say he was.
I don't know how to pick them up.
Oh, you
here.
won't hurt him. Just grab him and pull him back.
I don't want them to think I was preying on them.
But these
But
ones
they,
now feel totally different than the other ones.
But yeah, they weren't giving him the proper nutrition, so his bones
I pick
broke.
them up okay?
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to squeeze anything or hurt them or anything.
So his bones broke under his own weight from the bone disease. So he
But
was.
he's okay now?
Oh, his bones will never heal. It's just like we teach the kids. There's kids that have disabilities. He has a disability, but it doesn't slow him down one bit.
So he's fine. He's just a little.
Yep. You know, he
he's a
eats
special
healthy.
needs.
Yeah.
lizard.
Yep. And like I said, he
he's-
loves it when you
he's a
pet him. He'll
beautiful little
arch.
guy.
He'll arch his back. These are great for kids. They're not mean. They call them the smiling lizard because if you look at them, they look
got a
like
little
they're
smile.
smiling all the
they've got
time.
the
Nice.
cutest little faces on them.
Oh, they're beautiful. I really like them.
Yep.
You know what's funny? His leg looks like a chicken wing. Is that a bit? I guess an insult, right? If I
It's
say
probably
that?
because it's broke. Yep. That's
No,
the.
No.
this,
Oh,
no,
this
this
guy.
guy. Yeah. No, he looks like something I've had at the restaurant there under some hot sauce.
Some restaurants you never
You
know,
never
right?
know. Oh,
you
geez,
never
you know
know.
what? Let's not go
Don't
there.
go there.
No, we'll just stay away from that. Oh, there, look at that. Look, you see that, Doug? He's coming to me. He loves me. You know what? I might bring a few of these home tonight. See how.
It's
see
amazing
how,
how
Arlene
instantly you
likes that.
can fall in love
I don't
with
think
them,
Arlene.
right?
Oh, you know what? I think she'd be fine with it.
You could easily lighten my load. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what we
You can be the
do.
one to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
So now, when you present these to the kids, do they pass them around?
Yeah, what I do, I come out first and I give the kids a safety talk on what to do and what not to do on each animal
Yeah.
as I bring them out
Right.
and tell them what to eat, their closures, and then I let them pass around. Every
So it's a
kid-
whole
Yep,
educational
it's-
program.
And
isn't
I
it?
ask them questions. I tell the kids before we start, I'm going to ask you as we go along.
Right.
And whoever can answer most of my questions gets to go home with a
You know
snake
what?
shed.
Ask me a question.
What kind of gecko was the last one I had
I
out
don't
here?
know. What do I know? I'm trying to run a show here, Doug. I don't have time to memorize all your stuff.
But yeah, I make the kids tell me as we
That's
go
good.
along,
No,
and
that's good.
whoever does the best gets to take home a snake skin when one of my
Oh,
sheds
that's
when we're
great.
done.
So I'm not freaking him out.
No, if he's not
nervous
running,
or-
he's calm.
Okay, that's
He's just
good.
checking you all out.
Yeah,
These guys are
he's
great.
And would they smell through their eyes or something?
Nope, these guys smell
have
through
a
their nose.
nose,
They got their
yes.
nose, and they got a transparent ear on the side, that kind of like me. You can see in through one and out the other. The kids get a
good.
kick at that
They
at the
like
shows.
that.
I try to be a goofball
You know
when
what?
I'm doing
I'm
my
a
shows.
comedian on the show. I tell the jokes.
Well, that's like me. I throw a lot of wife jokes at my shows, so
Right.
it's good when she's not there because I
Then you
compare
can
some of
go,
my
you
lizards.
go wild.
Yeah.
Oh, these are wonderful. All
Yeah.
right, I'll let you take. What was his name?
This is Leo.
Leo?
Or that's Leo, and this is River.
Leo and River.
And that's something when the SPCA come and they're like, "Can you tell us all your animals' names over the phone?" And instead of saying what they were, I started with names. And he's like, "You know the names of every one of those animals?" I'm like, "Well, they're not my animals. They're my kids.
They're your.
I have
of
one
course,
daughter,
they're
and I have
family.
I have one daughter, and I have 50 reptile kids."
Okay, so he's okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
These guys with the lizards, that's why I teach people, you never grab them when they fall because it'll induce prey. They can fall 20 feet without harming them.
Okay. Now, what are these guys?
These guys, this is two Australian bearded dragons.
Okay.
She's a central bearded dragon. She's an eastern bearded dragon. This is Sally.
Two girls?
Yep.
Sally?
Sally and Jackie. She was my first.
Yeah.
She was my first.
Your first love.
Yep. She.
Sorry, Tamara.
She's about 7 years old.
I've accepted it.
She's getting old. She's my senior citizen. They only will live about 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
But she's starting to have some difficulties. But we're going to keep her as comfortable as we can, as long as we can. And
she's a sweetheart.
oh yeah, these are, they call them, like I said, the puppy dogs of the lizard world. You couldn't pay these things to hurt you.
Oh.
And they're this lazy
Yeah,
all the time.
you take them on your lap, they sit like this. But they're a high maintenance lizard. They have to have 110 basking degree one spot, and the other end they have to have 80. They have to have fresh fruit and vegetables every morning, meat.
So now, when the kids are looking at these, do you get a lot of kids say, "Oh, I want one of these"?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then do you tell them the
Sure.
reality of it?
Well, I tell them, always say, it's good to start out with the geckos.
Right.
If you can take care of gecko, move up that gecko, and then have one of these guys. But these guys, like I said, they have to be cleaned up as soon as they use the bathroom because their excrements stink bad in 10 degree heat.
Right.
So they've
So you
got to
have
be
to
well
really
taken
take
care of them, or
Yeah.
and their diet. They have to have, when they're young, 80% protein with meat and 20%
Which
vegetable,
means
and then
crickets, worms.
and then when they get older, you switch it. Now they get the opposite: 20% meat and 80%.
So it's a real commitment to get one of these
Absolutely.
Yes,
animals
it
and
is.
take care of it.
Any of these
properly.
are real commitments.
Yeah.
But these guys, as we go through, we're starting with the easy ones, and then we work our way up to the
More complicated guys.
ones. Yeah.
So these are from Australia, you
Yep.
said?
Yep.
Okay.
We rescued the both of them right here in town. Like I said, they weren't in horrible positions, but just people who didn't want them anymore. The novelty wore off.
Okay, again, I'm sorry, I don't want to, like, are people ordering these online? Or
Yeah, oh yeah, you can order them on. You can buy them in
Going
bulk at the pet store.
Sally, they told Doug that she was mean and they were scared to touch her. So she had been in a tank and not touched for months
Right.
because they were scared of her. I reached in and picked her up. She was scared of me, so she flared up her chin. I
Yeah.
don't know, what do you call that? And but I picked her right up, and then she was fine.
was fine.
But they didn't know. They didn't, so.
Okay.
But yeah, these
Well,
Well,
guys.
she gets lots
we'll
of
keep
love.
moving
Yeah.
here, because
Yeah, for
we're,
sure.
you know what, I'm talking too much.
That's
Oh,
okay.
My
So,
earpiece is falling
Here,
out. Now, what's this guy
this
here?
is my favorite. This girl has a story behind her.
All right.
A few people on the air might know. I was sitting at home one night, my Facebook lit up saying, "Your iguana's loose. Your iguana's loose in town." I said,
Right.
"Well, that's not an iguana, and I don't have one yet." It was a friend of mine. His young fella had him for 6 years, and let him loose,
Okay.
assuming he would survive. So he roamed around for town for about 2 months until someone found him, and then they took him back to the owner, and they decided that he'd be better off with us. So they donated him to us.
And he is an iguana?
No,
Oh, he's not.
he's a Chinese water dragon.
The Chinese water dragon.
Yeah, her name's Chloe.
Chloe.
She's about 6 years old. She's shedding right now, as you can see, the skin peeling off her.
Yes.
But she's my favorite. She's the most docile and friendly. We got a little leash for her. She'll walk.
Really?
Oh yeah, she'll go over, I sit on my head. She'll sit there all day. Neat thing about these guys is how many eyes do you see on her?
2.
Okay, she has
She's
3.
fast.
She has a third eye.
Yeah, if you look on top of her head, these guys have to have UVB light to survive, sunlight. Okay, and they can't look up. They have, see that dot right there
Yeah.
on top of the head?
Yes.
That's his optical eye. It detects sunlight, so when something flies over it in the wild and blocks that,
Yeah.
signals his brain, I gotta run. There's preys above me. And when he needs to get warm, that helps him find sunlight.
Wow. I never knew that. That's
And
very interesting.
These guys will spend about 90% of their life in the trees, and when they're not in the trees, they're in the water.
So you don't want to put a little hat on him or anything, or then he won't see anything that's going on.
Not a thing. And he's got
Now,
out of all
why
of
is
them.
his tail so long?
It actually used to be 7 inches longer. The young fella that owned him accidentally shut it in the window.
Oh, good Lord.
But when they get ugly, they whip with that. I've never seen him do it because she's such a docile.
so friendly.
But that's their defense.
No, I got a question for you. You know what? I have a lot of questions. You know what? I should have a TV show. But are they different personalities?
And that's like every
Absolutely.
animal I have in my snakes, especially the snakes, you got to learn them. You got to learn their moods. Because I have days that I open up and I can say, okay, that snake's in a bad mood. He's not coming out today.
You can tell right away.
I know. I can read their body language. Like with her, if she's a green like this, not dark green, but a light green and pink under her chin,
Yeah.
it's a good mood. Her chin, the brighter pink her chin is, the better mood she's in.
Yeah, she's all nice
Okay.
and blue on the
So
side.
she's in a good mood, which
Yeah,
is good.
she's always in a good mood.
All right. Well, you know what? We got to take another break. I don't like this. The show's going by way too fast.
That's all right.
We'll be right back with Rob Patry Live with Doug and Tamara Harper from Harper's Exotic Animals. Okay, you're back with Rob Patry Live, and we've got from Harper's Exotic Animals, Tamara and Doug Harper. Now, I will admit to you, I didn't know biology, and I don't know a lot about animals, but I'll tell you one thing, that is not a lizard or a snake.
But
If
technically,
somebody could confirm that,
Yeah.
like you two are professionals. I know you're shocked by the fact that I even knew that. Now, who is this beautiful boy?
this is our rescue pit bull from
Yes.
Georgia, Rocco.
He's a southern pit bull.
Yeah, he
Look at this face.
he come up with us through the hearts of the
my
north.
Sorry, you know what? I'm enamored by him. Sorry.
He come up through us from the hearts of the north and rescue. We waited 8 months to get him because he was in such bad shape when we got him.
Oh.
They found him walking the streets with a chain embedded in his neck.
Oh.
No hair from here down. He was full of heartworms, and they pretty well said they were going to put him down. And we spoke up and we said, no, fix him.
Not a beautiful boy like this. Now, how old is he?
He's probably now, but what, 3?
Yeah.
About 3 years old.
And
once,
he's got a blue eye
Yeah, he's
and
got-
a brown eye.
Yeah. In dogs, that's it's sad, but that's a sign of going to have health problems.
Really?
Most dogs that have the mismatch eyes end up with health problems.
Oh, well, don't you be good and healthy, because
But-
you're just a gorgeous dog.
And he's the God-saken pit bull that everybody says is bad, but
afraid of.
he ain't got a mean bone in his body, this
No,
guy.
I can tell. He's been here all during the show, and he hasn't made a sound.
Yep, he's our
Just
favorite.
a special boy.
We have another pit bull at home that's a little bit hyper that we didn't bring, and also a 200-pound Great Dane that we rescued.
Wow. So you got animals everywhere.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have 3 cats too.
You have
Yep.
3 cats.
We don't discriminate against anything.
not-
No,
Yep,
they
3
don't have
rescue
to
cats,
be exotic.
Except insects, sharks,
Yeah,
no
and
insects.
Yeah.
scorpions.
She'll step on them, so. I don't know how many days
But
I get
we-
told, come kill this spider.
We really want to express, like, adopt.
Adopt.
When you're looking for an
No.
animal.
I'm 100% behind you on that one. There are just too many unloved pets.
Yeah.
We don't need to keep breeding them. And you know, as sad as it is with Hurricane Harvey and Irma,
Yes.
there's going to be a lot
There
more.
is.
Because I remember during Katrina, there were dogs, hundreds, thousands of dogs that had no homes.
Yep.
And a lot of
Yeah.
them did come up to Canada.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with all this stuff that's going on right now, and that's why we're stressing. People are just leaving their dogs in their homes down there right now, a lot of them.
Well, I
tying
was
them in-
surprised. I was watching TV today, and they said a lot of people tie their dogs to a tree
And leave.
And leave.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the heck they're thinking.
Well, I almost lost my life when my house burnt because I went in to save my pets.
Yeah.
And
I
the
can
same thing would be
imagine leaving
anything.
them.
I broke my foot and I got burns
Yeah.
on 70% of my body just to try to save my
Save your
animals.
animals. Well, that's God
So,
bless you, because
We'll put Rocco back down.
that's fantastic.
A little heavy on my lap.
How heavy is he?
He's about 50 pounds.
Solid.
When
eh?
we
Like
got
a-
him, he was
like
30
a-
pounds.
Oh. Oh, he's beautiful.
So now,
Thank you. We love them.
Just, oh yeah.
we got a couple more we'll bring out before the showstopper.
Okay,
we call
so
it.
what are these? These are not dogs.
These are morphed ball pythons.
Morphed.
And these, we have natural ball pythons that, if we had the time, we'd bring out that look natural. These don't look like this in the wild. These are called genetic mutations that didn't exist 10 years ago. If he wants to grab one and show you a regular one. And what breeders do, it's like us. If you get an albino, it's a genetic mutation.
Yes.
Don't breed it with, say, if two humans bred with somebody with a skin disorder, then you've got those genetics.
Right.
It takes quite a few years to make one of these because you've got to get 7 different genetics of snakes into that snake. He's got like 7 different. His babies will come out looking like any one of the ball pythons I got, while a regular wild ball python will only, as he's going to bring over, look like that.
Okay.
And
now he doesn't bite.
These guys, it's not that they bite. These guys, the kids don't handle it. So these are my pretty ones that I'm still working with.
Yes.
They were breeders and they weren't handled a lot. They're what you call tote protective in their cages.
Right.
They're protective in there. Once you get them out and around, they're fine. But
Now these are cold, or he's cold.
they feel to you because our body temperature is 98 degrees all the time. Their
Okay.
body temperature varies from 75
Okay.
to 100, whatever temperature the room is and you're around. Now this is a natural. This is what they look like in the wild. This is a natural ball
he's
python.
beautiful.
And he's full grown.
Now these guys, that happens in the wild, but they don't survive because they're not camouflaged.
I see.
So, but breeders, like to this guy, these guys to sell would be a $25 snake, where this guy would be a $300 snake. Because of
he's
the
been
genetics
bred.
and what if breeder takes him, the money they can make from them. But with us, we don't care.
Right.
We just like the colors on them, and I've rescued them from a.
Now when the tongue comes out, what does that mean?
That's how they smell.
That's how they
a snake
smell.
smells with their tongue, and
Right.
these guys have little infrared pits. You see those little holes on the front of his?
Yes.
That's how they see at night. That's how they see an infrared.
Okay.
And that's how they find their prey. They're
Right.
heat sinking pits. All snakes have them, but the ball pythons are the ones that are the distinct.
You know, it's very refreshing to touch them.
It's
It feels
relaxing.
nice.
If I have a bad day,
You know,
I come
and
home,
people-
put a snake around my neck, and
You feel better.
it's comforting.
He, you know, because people say, oh, they're clammy and he's not at all.
Well,
No.
you
He's
just
the opposite.
watched us pull a shed off of him. When the shed comes off, it's
Yes.
new, it's slimy, and it's wet. And
Right.
that's the only
Time they're slimy is
time
when they're
a
shed.
snake is
Right.
ever slimy.
Oh, they feel very nice.
So we'll give these back to Cody, and now we're gonna bring out what we call our showstopper. We got about what, 7 minutes?
We'll bring out
We've
salmon,
got,
and then you can
yeah,
pass
7
those
minutes.
over.
So you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I've been doing very well here. You know,
You have been. I'm impressed.
I haven't been afraid, or oh, good Lord, maybe now I will be. This thing's huge. Now, what is this?
This
He's a
is
snake.
a salmon boa.
He's a salmon boa.
Yeah,
Can I touch him?
yeah,
'Cause
oh,
he's
yeah.
not aggravated.
No, she's super friendly.
Okay. And what's her name?
Sammy. Sammy the
Oh, this
salmon
is
boa.
Sammy.
Yep. She's
Famous Sam.
our most recruited big snake. She came from PEI,
Sammy.
from Next Generation Reptiles.
Okay.
They breed snakes and they do shows as well, but she was a little big. His wife was pregnant, and pregnant people aren't supposed to handle reptiles.
Right.
And this isn't a snake that you take and you stick in a cage for 9 months and
You
forget
have
about.
to, right.
So
yeah,
they
it needs
researched-
interaction.
Yeah.
They researched zoos, they researched other places, and then they found me from PEI, and then they snuck around to people who know me through online, asking them what kind of person I was and if I was, and then they contacted me and said, we're
And-
gonna send her to you.
I'm sorry, Dave, she's a boa constrictor?
Yep, and this is her boyfriend, Cash. He's a boa constrictor. He's a natural wild boa constrictor. She isn't. She's been bred to have all the black out of her. Well, he is what they look like
He's
in the
what they
wild.
look like in the
Yeah,
wild.
and
they
these-
get along?
They live together, yep.
Oh, they live
We had a tank misfortune, and one broke, and we put them together, and they get along great, and we actually think that she is pregnant right now. Because,
She's pregnant.
yeah, Sammy.
And then, how many, what, do they have eggs?
They have live,
you
up
know
to
what?
60 live
60
live
lives.
babies.
Oh, they pop, well, I shouldn't say pop out. That's not the...
Well, it's pretty well what they do, yeah.
Okay, so they pop out live.
Yep.
They look like little tiny snakes.
Yeah, the ball
Well-
pythons, they...
But
they-
what, okay, so if 60 snakes, what do you do with 60 snakes?
A lot of work. I get up 3 hours earlier.
But what if they all grow like this?
Oh, I rehome them. In my reptile community,
see.
I would have no trouble finding people. And even if I can't, like I said, I don't charge money to sell them. I give a rehoming fee to help them set up their stuff. I don't make them pay for the animals. Like,
right.
And if somebody said, I don't have the money, but I could give it a good home, he's yours. I will never turn away.
Now I can feel his strength.
Oh, yeah.
They're very muscular.
He's got about the strength of about a 600-pound man.
Do we have George here?
Yeah, he's over there. And then she has the strength of over a 1,000-pound man.
Now, if does she ever like wrap around you and
We had a funny story. Yeah, she, my wife was holding her one day, and she wasn't trying to squeeze her or nothing. She was trying to move around my wife, but her tail was down here, and she pulled her arm back here, and I get a yell from the other room.
She was above my elbow,
Really?
so I
She
couldn't.
would, and if I wasn't there, she would have broke her shoulder. So we do not take her out by ourselves.
Okay.
We take, excuse me.
Use the buddy system.
Well, every precaution, right? Because all it takes is one snake bite from one of these, and then they're condemned. People say that's a mean snake, that's an ugly snake.
Right.
And it happens. Like, I've been bit. I get bit all the time by new babies.
Right.
But as far as my bigger snakes, they're the most docile. And this is another boa, one of our pride and joys. These guys are now extinct in the wild. This is a Hog Island boa.
And where did these come from, Doug?
This one, a girl in town, because as you can see, he's a very strong snake, and
Yes.
she was scared of his strength, so she donated it to him. She comes to my shows, and we'll stand there the whole show and hold him the whole show.
Okay, so she's showing them, but where are they from originally?
Hog Island. It's another Australian
Australia.
island. Pretty much everything I got here
From
is
Australia.
Australian, South Africa. You want to see something scary? Go to Australia.
Okay.
But yeah, he's one of our favorite because he's so rare, and he's a cuddler. He likes to go right up.
And they're all okay with each other. They're not aggravated.
These guys, yeah, the boas can be with the boas. They don't recommend housing any snakes together, but I have
Right.
snakes that have been together their whole life, and there's no problem.
Right.
It's just
If they stopped eating,
you
then
stop eating, then you separate
them.
them. And if he courts her too much, I watch him courting her, and if he courts her too much, I'll take him out of the
Oh,
tank.
I love the temperature.
They feel amazing, don't
Yeah, they really do.
And they'll sit like this all day. I've fallen asleep on the couch with them on me like
Yeah,
this.
and they'll
you
try
know-
and wrap around you
No.
and snap your neck.
That's an old folk tale.
So-
A lot of parents will tell kids, you can't have a cat, you're allergic to them, you're
Right.
allergic to a dog. Great alternatives for
Right.
kids who can't have fur baby pets
Yeah.
or
And
reptiles.
we've done shows for kids, highly autistic,
Yes.
that never spoke, never nothing. At the show, they handle the lizard, they start
And
to
they're
speak
fine.
and behave, and then the parents get them. And then they contact me and say, this is the best thing I ever could have done for my kid. I won't touch them, but this is the best thing. I hold it against them, they get good marks.
Now, Doug, you know, and tomorrow, I always say Doug, but you know, I'm actually more interested in you.
Oh, she's better looking than I
You're a
am.
lot better looking, yes, I agree. Now, will the snake you're holding, will he, or is it a little boy? He is, right?
He's a full grown.
He's full grown.
He's a
Oh,
miniature
so
boa.
he won't grow as
Nope.
big.
Nope.
They classify them as a miniature boa. They're Hog Island.
I see.
Yeah, they don't grow near as big. He's full grown. He's about 6 years old.
There's so many different kinds in the
Oh yeah,
one.
there's hundreds of
breed,
different
right?
kinds of boas, and people
Wow.
make their own breeds by breeding genetic
Right.
mutations.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can basically breed any boa with any kind of boa, and any python with any kind of python. But you
Right.
can't breed a boa with a python. Genetics are different.
Okay. So boa and python. Now, is the python? You don't have poisonous snakes.
No,
do you?
no. From what I understood, it's pretty well illegal unless you're a science place. to
And you
have
don't
them.
want to. Well, who needs
Even
that?
if I did, like I said, if I had to rescue one, an animal's an animal to me, right?
Right.
Like the iguana I got coming,
Yeah.
he's not friendly.
Right.
He ain't friendly at all. And they go through a puberty, and when they go through the puberty, they're very violent.
Yeah.
But even though he can be violent, he still has the right to live.
Of course. Geez, I was a lot of problems for my mom and dad through puberty. I know that. I don't think I was violent. I was more stupid. I think I was stupid
I
during
think that's
puberty.
pretty normal.
You know what? But
yeah.
I never outgrew that. That's the strange part. Oh, okay, so they all kind of knot up and cuddle up.
Oh yeah, yeah. These two live in the same tank. They're always.
So this is the one, Sammy,
Yeah.
that I see on Facebook. Like
Yeah.
Yes.
always somebody's
Yeah,
holding
she's
them.
the favorite out of all of them because.
And how much does she weigh?
Depending on what's in her belly, but she's right around 56 pounds now.
56 pounds.
Yeah. Cash, the male, he's half her weight. He's 29.
And how often do they eat?
Depending I've put her on a diet. I'm gonna skip a month for her because she's overweight. Not the people I got her from, but the ones before him, power fed her. So we got her on a little bit of a diet. We'd like to get her down a few pounds, but they eat every About every 3 weeks to a month.
And then they eat once, and then they don't do anything for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their metabolism is so
Really
low
slow, right? So
that they don't require a lot of food.
So when she bumps into herself, does she know that's her?
oh yeah,
She
yeah.
knows it's all her.
Oh yeah, she can
She doesn't
taste
think, oh,
that
geez, I'm
scent.
someone else.
That scent, she even knows my scent.
Right.
Oh
Like,
yeah, when
she
we
doesn't
have these
bond
guys
with
out
me.
and we're at a birthday party and someone else is holding them, they always try to come back to us.
It's not that they
your
bond.
mommy and daddy.
Well, reptiles
It's our
don't
smell.
bond. It's they distinguish us as a safe spot.
Right.
Like I tell people, a safe tree that they hang out in that's not
Right.
going to hurt. But a reptile doesn't have the brain to bond. Some lizards do, but these guys, they don't have the brain to bond.
Don't
If
have
I
the
was dumb
brain
and
to bond.
made my hand smell like a rat and I put that in front of her,
She's
gonna
eat
take
away.
it. She's
Bite
gonna
ya,
take
yeah.
it.
And
They,
eat
it's-
away. Well, I think we're just about out of time. Thank you both, Tamara and
Thank you for
Doug.
having us.
Oh, it's
Great
been
time.
an absolute pleasure. It's been a great evening. We learned a lot and went by way too fast.
Oh, it means we can bring more next time.
Absolutely. Anytime. You're always welcome. I just want to point out, please, whenever Doug's around, go and see his shows. I know that both of them do a lot for charity, and which is a fantastic thing. But what I love about both of these two is that they are all about adoption. And I think that's critical. I think all animals, there's too many out there that need loving homes. You don't need to be breeding and buying. I mean, that's great for some people, but there are a lot of pets out there that need loving homes. Thank you both again. Another fantastic show. Thank you. Take care. Nice so much. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next week. Rob Patry Live.